Dr. Steve Turley, again, very, very solid in terms of his stuff. I would, oh man, I'm going to kind of switch these. I'm going to put ABL here. Dr. Steve Turley, amazing. Just very, very simple and very, very cutthroat and very, very to the point in the way that he presents his information. His YouTube channel is an absolute gold mine. If you're simply looking for the facts without too much rhetoric behind it, he's very, very he's able to actually change the hearts and minds of people. And again, it really comes down to his speaking style. He's not very emotional. He doesn't play a lot of characters, but he's very, very clear. He's very, very concise, and he's able to actually get the information of conservatism out there in a way that any normie can easily digest. Fleckus. Fleckus? Fleckus. So Fleckus talks. I don't watch this guy too much. I've seen a couple of his videos. One video that went massively viral was when he went to Jerry Nadler. Again, for those of you who haven't seen my Jerry Nadler meme, it's my most watched video. For some reason, it's really sad. Sorry to go off on a tangent here, but it's really sad. I put out all of this content, every single day. I'm working my ass off to make sure that I have content out there that you guys can watch. And my most watched video, it's like to 200 plus thousand views at this point, is just a meme video I did of Jerry Nadler pooping his pants. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm happy people enjoy it, but it's like I'm trying to change the hearts and minds of people, and yet my most important video is just a fart video. But speaking of Fleckus Talks and Jerry Nadler, there was a video that actually went out of him saying, hey, what's going on in Portland and Antifa, burning down buildings and stuff like that. And he actually got Jerry Nadler to admit that that was a lie, that Antifa didn't exist, that it was just an idea, just like Joe Biden said. Blows my mind. After Kenosha, Portland, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Los Angeles, San Diego, the list goes on and on. New York. It literally goes. Detroit. It goes on and on and on. Antifa all over the United States, burning down buildings, intimidating people, attacking people, killing people, like what happened in Portland, Oregon. Absolutely disgusting. But again, Fleckus Talks, getting that video, and again, like I said before, boots on ground, and this is why this guy could never be put in unpolished actor, because he can actually go out there and change the hearts and minds of people, and he does it in a very comedic fashion. And I think I'm gonna have to put him behind Andy No, because Andy No he's very solid in terms of his reporting, but Fleckus, again, very solid, very comedic. Is able to change the hearts and minds of people. I think he's very, very good for this movement. Freedom Tunes, Freedom Tunes, Freedom Tunes, guys. I think we're gonna go with solid participant here. Uh, he's had some amazing stuff. Basically, what he does, he basically just pokes fun at politics. It does have a right lean. He shows up on the Tim Pool's podcast quite a bit, but just able to go out there and kind of make fun of this whole political process. He really is a game changer in terms of changing the hearts and minds of people, because comedy wins people over. When you go out to a comedy show and you hear someone say something that is verboten, as Newt Gingrich, can't talk, Newt Gingrich would say, you laugh. And that laugh is kind of a indication that this is a truth that nobody can say. And that's what Freedom Tunes is. It's making fun of the mainstream. It's making fun of the culture war. It's making fun of politics. It's taking something that's very serious and making it very light, so that people, normies can eat this up and say, hey, oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, that's so true, right? And all of a sudden, people are admitting the truth to something. I think I'm actually going to put them up here, right below ABL. So Freedom Tunes, check them out. Very, very solid stuff. Gavin McInnes. Oh my God. This man is able to actually move the needle in such a way that, and the thing is too, his audience has kind of shrunk quite a bit. But despite that, his overtones and the changes that he has led to in terms of the cultural landscape cannot be denied. This man is consistently brought up. And honestly, yeah, he's up there, guys. I would say legendary champion. And the only reason why I say legendary champion is because think about Proud Boys. Proud Boys charters are all over the United States of America. He made Perry Ellis stop selling a shirt that has been out for, I believe, 100 years in the United States of America because of a group that he founded, a group that was based on a Disney movie song. Basically just supposed to be a frat organization, a drinking club for men, which has now turned into patriots all across the United States of America actually doing battle with Antifa in the streets. Because you saw what was happening in terms of conservatives like Ben Shapiro, Milo, people like that went to go to a campus and actually speak and having to pay thousands of dollars in terms of security just to go speak at an event that they may not even be getting paid to do. You saw what happened. I believe was it San Francisco? UCLA. There's burning, there's fires inside of a education center, of a college. People are so afraid of ideas. People are so afraid of people going out there and speaking. And what did the Proud Boys do? The Proud Boys are strong men, a fraternal organization that actually went out there and protected these people from being assaulted by these violent thugs. Gavin McInnes, Get Off My Lawn, an amazing podcast. And again, it's just like these needle movers. You can already see we have Alex Jones up here and we have Gavin McInnes up here. And they say some crazy stuff. And because of that, they're banned. Absolutely banned. It's pathetic. It's very, very sad. So yeah, Gavin McInnes, just because of him creating the Proud Boys, again, in the election debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, they actually had to bring up the Proud Boys. So, I mean, again, this guy's got massive influence. He's hilarious. You got to check him out. The original hipster himself, Gavin McInnes. This is Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, for those of you who haven't seen it. Just because of, see, he doesn't have the reach that I really want him to. A lot of people who are watching this right now might not even know who this is. He doesn't have as big of a following as some of these other people. A very solid, strong structure. He's got multiple channels. He talks about sports in one channel. He talks about politics in another. He talks about games in another. I mean, this guy's all over the culture war, and that really does it makes him a solid participant simply because of the amount of content that this guy generates. I mean, he is changing hearts and minds of everyday people, gamers. A huge, that's what's not really talked about. People don't really watch movies all that much, guys. Of course, Netflix is huge and stuff like that, but the gaming industry is giant. And because of the gamers, they kind of keep to themselves. They're not out there. They're not all political activists. They simply want to chill out, hang out, talk to their friends, play a few games or whatever, or basically make gaming their life. That's an entirely different subset of people who probably need a lot of help. Unless you're truly enjoying it, or, again, making millions of dollars like some of these Twitch streamers, YouTubers, Facebook, etc., DLive. Again, this guy, he's solid. He's going out there with the culture war, and simply because of the amount of content he's putting out, he's got to be in the solid participant. Jack Posobiec. Jack Posobiec, a lot of people might hate me for this, but he has insider information. Ooh, Jack Posobiec. This guy's a troll. He is a solid troll. He oftentimes works with Cassandra Fairbanks, but he is much more polished in terms of his delivery. His Twitter followers, I'll probably put him here. Very, very solid. A solid participant in terms of getting the message of conservatism out there. Again, recently on Tim Pool's show and Timcast, the man is an absolute juggernaut in terms of the culture war. He's out there on a daily basis, and he's got sources, guys. He shows up in there with the war room with Steve Bannon. He pushes the needle. This guy gets votes out there. He changes hearts and minds of people. Check him out, Jack Posobiec. I believe he recently actually had a comic book created for him, where Greta Thunberg is this evil, evil god emperor. She's the evil god emperor, and he is this secret agent that has to go out there and defeat Greta Thunberg. How dare you? How dare you? James O'Keefe, ladies and gentlemen, James O'Keefe has to be a legendary champion. The way that he affects the culture war is absolutely insane to me. Project Veritas is one of the last bastions of actual investigative journalism in all of the US. I mean, these big, huge, massive, multi billion dollar corporate media entities, the legacy media, they don't do half the legwork that this guy does. And he's all self funded. He's funded by donations. A huge drop recently about the election and fraud. I mean, this guy has his finger on the pulse, and he is a constant thorn in the side of the establishment. An absolute juggernaut. A true monster. You know what, guys? Ooh. This one's a tough one, guys. The reach of Alex Jones is insane, but because he's been throttled, James O'Keefe is just, I mean, he really is. He's waking people up. And, I can actually give my own self-criticism. He really does. In terms of his videos, a lot of it really is edited quite a bit. And I think he does. He has a lot of smoking guns. And the tips that he gets in terms of what happened in big tech, what's going on in this current election cycle and stuff like that, he really should be high up there. But if I was to give any criticism to him whatsoever, is make your videos longer. I want to see the full context for a lot of these things. This is why he's consistently attacked for saying he's pulled stuff out of context. And I believe if given the full context, it would still show a large, copious amounts of corruption in terms of the government and high-level officials. But just because of what he does in terms of changing hearts and minds and doing the legwork, investigative journalism, the man does his job. Jordan Peterson, legendary champion, guys, legendary champion, and honestly, yeah, I mean he's up there. And unfortunately, because of those pills that he was given, we really did this election. The election of 2020 needed Jordan Peterson more than ever, and having him on the sidelines absolutely destroyed this movement. We can just be honest with ourselves. This guy, he might not be the bastion of conservatism, but he believes in individual responsibility. And that's what it's all about, guys. It's about individual responsibility. Taking whatever you do in your own life and your actions and saying, hey, you know what? That's on me. That's on me. What is my path and purpose in life? When a lot of these people that are on the left, the reason why they gravitate towards a more collectivist mindset is because they don't have a purpose in their life. When you have a purpose, when you're out there, whether it's working with your hands or creating a new project, being a creator, ultimately about being a creator, screwing with the algorithm of life. This guy is an absolute trailblazer to that. I can't think of another philosopher right now that is changing the hearts and minds of people like Jordan Peterson does, and I really do. I hope he does a lot better. I hope he gets healthy because he is an absolute pillar to this conservative movement, and he needs to be there for the foreseeable future. Jordan Peterson, amazing. 12 Rules for Life, fantastic book. I know he's currently writing his next book, an additional 12 Rules for Life, and I really does. I hope he gets the help that he needs. Caitlin Bennett, I believe. Is this Caitlin Bennett? Sorry, I believe this is Caitlin Bennett, guys. Ooh, sorry. Caitlin Bennett. This is the girl that goes all over college campuses and stuff like that. You probably see her a lot. She's got the gun, over her shoulder and stuff like that. Beautiful girl, pushes the needle. She was recently attacked, I believe, down in South Florida. I think it was actually one of the colleges pretty close to me in Orlando in the Knights, the Golden Knights. Who are they again? University of Central Florida. And she was attacked, attacked for her views. And again, she's very, very pro POTUS. She moves the needle. Again, beautiful girl with a gun. Beautiful girl with a gun. Beautiful conservative girl with a gun. I mean, I hate to say, sex sells, guys. It does. It does. And I hate to, kind of go into that lizard brain mindset here, but at the end of the day, look at what these lefties are doing. We need every single thing in our arsenal. And a woman like this, beautiful girl, beautiful conservative girl with a gun. I think every one of us wants one of that, right, ladies and gentlemen? I think I'll go here. Sorry, I feel like I keep undermining Turley here, but again, boots on ground. A big thing that I've consistently said is like, hey, this person goes somewhere, gets footage of actually being there, and actually creating news. It might just be, oh, it's this tiny little college. UCF isn't a tiny college by any stretch of the imagination, but it's like, hey, why aren't the police protecting us? Why are the police telling me I have to leave? This is a public space paid for by taxpayer dollars. Why do I have to leave? Laura Loomer, guys. Unfortunately, Laura Loomer did win, did lose in her race to try to go to the House. But I'm going to put her here on dominant competitor. And again, the reason why, let's put her up. Yeah, Laura Loomer is solid. And the reason why is before she was banned, this one was all over the place. I believe she went inside one of Nancy Pelosi's homes, went inside the gates and brought immigrants with her. She's a publicity stunt master. I think she went outside of the house of Jeff Bezos and put some like lights up or something like that for Jeff Bezos. She handcuffed herself to the door of Twitter HQ after being banned from Twitter. This woman is pretty solid. And the reason why is because she's just so fanatical. Let's just be honest. She speaks out against the religion of peace in a way that I don't think a lot of people like, which is what got her banned. But she calls herself proudly Islamophobic. But again, she pushes the needle, guys, and just the way that she's just a master in terms of making the media cover her because she is just so flamboyant, she is so boisterous, she is so unapologetic, and now she is actually pushing for a seat in power. If there weren't absentee ballots, in Florida and it was just in-person voting, she would have won her seat in, I believe, a plus 12 Dem district. So if she actually goes to a more favorable area, I believe that she could actually make it into the House. And I feel bad for those people in northern Florida. It's actually the same exact county of the residency of Donald Trump. So again, Lauren Southern, I would actually put her a list below Laura Loomer, but her video of her going overseas and actually showing what was going on in terms of immigration during the whole debacle with Syria and all of those migrants flooding into Germany and France and all across Europe. And now you see what's going on in terms of the terrorist attacks basically every single week at this point. We just had one in Vienna. We had a couple in France. We had a couple in the UK. It just happens every single week at this point, and it's absolutely disgusting. And Lauren Southern actually went out there and put her feet to the fire, or put the politicians' feet to the fire, and was actually willing to be, the voice that people needed to hear and that a lot of people don't want you to hear. It's absolutely pathetic. Again, a very needle mover and a dominant competitor, boots on ground, showing the raw footage, showing what it actually means to be a conservative and fight against an immigration policy that makes no sense. No vetting of these refugees, most of them not most of them, a large portion of them being economic migrants, not actually leaving war-torn countries, coming from places in northern Africa that aren't dealing with, basically an uprooted state other than, of course, Libya. Thanks, Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And again, needle mover, needle mover, needle mover. Needle dick, needle dick. Sorry. Liberal hive mind, guys. Got to put him here. And this guy is insane. Liberal hive mind. Even though I'm putting him on unpolished actor, because he hides his face and isn't able to get the boots on ground, guys. This guy had the fastest growing channel I may have ever seen in terms of the political sphere on YouTube. Now he's getting throttled. But before that, he went by the name Punk Rat, I believe, and he did World of Warcraft Classic videos. I used to watch him back when I played that game, until, I fell off. Thank God. But he's got his voice, I don't know, it's very weird. It draws you in, it pulls you in, and he's very consistent with his videos. The liberal hive mind posts videos, probably 3 to 5 videos every single day. And his thumbnails, if you look at his thumbnails, guys, and you look at the thumbnails to my videos, you're probably seeing a bit of a connection, guys. Good artist copy, great artist steal, the liberal hive mind. Again, I'm going to put him at the top of unpolished actors here simply because, God, this guy grew so fast. And he's very incendiary in terms of his content. He goes out there and actually, he just says it how it is, guys. He just says it how it is, and he is not afraid to dunk on the Dems. Who's this? Who is this guy? Who is this? Wow. Lucius Coal, guys. I don't know. You gotta put him number 1, guys. You gotta put him number 1, guys. Let's freaking go. Let's go, boys. Coal factory, coal train. No. In my unbiased opinion, I am an unpolished actor. I have a lot of work to do. I should be posting videos every single day for you guys. I do miss a few days. I've missed only a couple days out of the 3+ months that I've been posting at this point. But I need to be posting more videos every single day. I have a lot more work to do. Let's just be honest. I mean, for those of you who are still watching this video at this point, I thank you a lot. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this list. Who am I missing? I know I'm missing a ton of people, guys, but once I started pushing over 50+ people, I was like, man, this video is going to be 5 hours long. So I had to, take a bit of a break. These were just the big ones that kind of, fell into my Twitter feed. As you noticed, I picked like all the booby pictures for the girls except for Candace. But again, if you like this type of content, I'm just trying to push the needle myself, guys. So I'm gonna go with unpolished actor here for Lucius Coal. Let me know where you think I should be. I'm nowhere near any of these guys. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers. But for those of you early adopters of this channel, I promise you that I'm going to be doing a hell of a lot more once I'm able to monetize this thing. And I'm not even necessarily doing this for the money, but I'm not going to lie. I love money. I would love to quit my job. But I want to be able to actually go out there. I used to drive all across the U.S., guys. Quick story. After I got out of the Navy, for a year, I lived out of my car. I actually have a different channel that maybe one day I will reveal that I did for a very long time, and it was about self-help and self-improvement. I've read probably close to 1,000+ books in my life. I used to do book reviews on the channel. I've read so many books, guys. I can't even count. I'm not so much of a reader anymore because to be honest, I don't have the time, but I will start doing book reviews on this channel. But back to me traveling, 1,000. I've done like 40 different states or close to 40 states, and basically just living out of my car. Talking to people. Just to be honest, picking up girls, hanging out with cool guys that I found through YouTube and friends and stuff like that. And it was a blast. It was a blast. I had a blast, and it changed me quite a bit. So yeah, I want to be able to do that stuff again. Go out there in the field. Go out to these, um, whether it be these mobs, these riots, go out up to DC and actually investigate and interact with people. Be a needle mover, be a change, be the change I wish to see in the world. I want a government that is not entirely corrupt. I know, guys, it's a hard ask, guys. It's a hard ask. But like Julian Assange said, if you actually revealed it all, it would go to show that 98% of the government is corrupt. I want to make that, I want to flip that around. I want a 2% corruption, 98% legit, but we'll see. I'm going to put myself an unpolished actor. I'm not total grifter. No. All right, Mark Dice. Mark Dice, guys, we're going to go with solid participant. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with dominant competitor here, guys. I I like him. But for some reason, and it's you know what? I've been kind of liking him a little bit more. I like his videos. He got really big pushing a video out where he went out with some Hershey bars, and then he went out with a silver bar of bullion silver, and he went and asked people, "Hey, you want this candy bar or you want this silver bar?" And he's got like 5 candy bars in his hand, and they all choose the candy bars. And then he has the silver bar in his hand, which is probably worth, a couple, maybe like $100 or 20. Well, what if it's just an ounce? Is probably like $30 at the time, $20 at the time. But compared to a Hershey bar, which is like probably $1, I mean, it just really showed the stupidity that is America. And not to get overtly political at this point, but after seeing how many people voted for Joe Biden, that whole stupid Americans thing that you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, stupid Americans." Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. There are a lot of stupid people. Like George Carlin said, think of all the stupid people and realize, I think he said, like, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but remind yourself that 50% of them are dumber than what you think the average American is. Michelle Malkin. We're gonna go with solid. Man, there's a lot of solid participants here, guys. Um, she's a needle mover. She oftentimes worked with Nick Fuentes. I'm surprised she hasn't been banned, guys. And it could just be because she's Asian. I'm not even joking. If she was a white guy saying the type of stuff that she says and actually talking about immigration in real terms, and not like some crazy super fascist immigration, but just like a sensible immigration policy. Like, hey, if you want to come to this country, it should be based on merit, not because you learned how to move around a border. Hey, you know what? If you want to come to this country, it should be for jobs that require these types of tasks. Hey, if you want to come to this country, it should be through a big door that says legally, only legal, green card holders, right? But again, the left want open borders, or the libertarian left want full open borders. It's an absolute joke. Yeah, I would go here. She's very, very solid. Mike Cernovich. Funny story about Mike Cernovich. He actually used to be part of the pickup artist community, basically where you pick up girls. I don't actually think he actually labeled himself as a PUA, so to speak, but I used to actually, you know, go frequent forums that he would go to and talk to. He used to be basically like a self-help guru. I know he lived in um, maybe it was like Vietnam or Laos or Thailand for a substantial part of time. I believe that's actually where he met his current wife. And he would basically help guys learn to be more masculine, learn to be more charismatic, and stuff like that. Ironically, there's a lot of people, um, that are in the political sphere nowadays. I won't name names, maybe if I ask them, but that used to be in that like self-help, like pick up girls sphere. It's kind of weird to see them in politics now. Maybe that's just a stepping stone to their life. I think most guys that when they're in there between probably what 20 to 28, maybe 20 to 35. Let's be honest. 20 to 35 guys just want to like pick up chicks all the time. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But I would put him. Man, it's tough. I'd have to go with dominant competitor simply because I believe he is a step above Andy now because this guy, he I don't know what it is, but this guy, I don't know who, I really want to know who his contacts are in terms of the higher ups because some of the things that he says on Twitter that are going to happen, they end up actually happening. Um, and not like happening like, oh, I think this is, I think he'll say something like along the lines of, oh, this type of legislation should be pushed or something like that. And then all of a sudden, that exact type of legislation is then being pushed. So not only is he's changing the laws in the country. I mean, that just, yeah, you got to put him a step up. Um, when a man's changing the laws of the land, I mean, that's a real needle pusher. So he's got to be out there. Check out Mike Cernovich. He's solid. Milo, Milo, unfortunately, he was well on his way to being a legendary champion. And I think to this very day, I think he's still an amazing guy. Um, what he did in terms of the gay community in America, showing that it was okay to be conservative, that it was all right to be flamboyant, that it was all right to be your authentic self regardless of the consequences, I think really opened up a lot of people's eyes, not just in the gay community, but just people overall. And it changed the way the conservative movement worked. Like I said before, it used to just be like all suits, like we go to church, we pray to God, we wear our suits, we hate abortion, we don't like drinking, we like just very like straight laced and tight knit, and nothing wrong with that, guys, but he brought the fun. He brought the party to the Republican Party. Oh, that's a good one. He brought the party to the Republican Party. And I'm going to have to say dominant competitor. The problem is ever since his censorship from big tech, particularly Twitter, this guy used to go by the name Nero, I believe, on Twitter. And he was the biggest thorn in the side of the big tech oligarchy before any of this massive amounts of censorship actually happened. He had a blue check mark on Twitter that was removed. A blue check mark is only supposed to say who you are. And yet, this was the starting of the unraveling that ultimately ended up being this total censorship campaign by big tech nowadays. And Milo was the first one to poke the bear. You know what? I don't know if I can put him on. The only reason why I don't put him on legendary champion is because, see, Gavin's up there. Yeah, but Gavin, with the Proud Boys, Gavin is still very much relevant. I'm not saying Milo isn't relevant. The problem with Milo, like I said, is just he doesn't have the voice that he used to, and he doesn't produce as much content as he used to as well. I mean, again, after his comments about what happened to him as a little kid with, I believe, a priest, and him saying that he, basically had sex with a priest, this is just like what happened to Alex Jones, guys. When somebody on the right says something that is like really taboo, I believe he said something along the lines of, most young boys would like it or something like that. Um, what we should have been looking at in terms of when he said that was like, hey, this guy, this kid, because he was a kid at the time, this kid was abused. This kid needs help. Not like, oh my God, why would he say that? You got to think about like what was his mindset to say something like that. I mean, this is a gay man now who's happily married, and yet, like everybody just let him go. He was supposed to go speak at the Republican National Convention, and you know what happened? The RNC pulled him. It is absolutely disgusting. That is a big problem that I've had with Trump is all of the people that helped him get elected, why didn't he go down and help them? It's sad. It's really sad. So again, Milo's up there, dominant competitor, and honestly, he still has time to reach that legendary status, but yeah, not quite yet. Mr. Obvious. I'm going to put him under liberal hive mind. I actually enjoy listening to Mr. Obvious a little bit better. than liberal hive mind, but liberal hive mind he's got the influence. He's got the numbers behind him. Mr. Obvious, very similar to Pigeon Speaks and Bearing, unpolished. When you hide behind something, unfortunately, you're not able to get boots on ground, which means you're not able to actually effectuate change other than rhetoric. Speaking into a microphone is all great and dandy, but at the end of the day, you have to get people into the ballot box. You have to actually go out there and physically show yourself so that you can be the change you wish to see in the world. You can't create rallies. You can't change the hearts and minds of people. You can't go canvas. You can't go what would the left want to do? Ballot harvest. You can't do that type of stuff because you have to hide your identity. It's very unfortunate. Nick Fuentes. Groypers! Groypers, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people are going to hate me on this, but I'm going to put him on the low tier of dominant competitor. And that's simply because he represents a part of the right that the right don't want to acknowledge. And that's the fact that people want to preserve their culture. Um, and unfortunately, because of that, he's oftentimes told that he's a Nazi. And I don't believe he's a Nazi. He has said some outrageous things, like he doesn't believe in interracial relationships and stuff like that. And again, this is why he kind of gets pigeonholed because of his views. But I believe he has the right to have that. I don't agree with that. I like Asian women, I like black women, I like Hispanic women, I like all women. Whatever. But this guy has a movement behind him, very similar to Michelle Malkin, but he's more of the mouthpiece to it. And he's actually willing to go out there and do the hardcore debates, willing to go against people like Vosh or, any of these, hardcore lefties. And again, the right has turned their back. And this isn't a small group, guys. There are a lot of people that want to hold their culture. And they're not all white supremacists. They're just people that believe that the culture that white people help create, they want to hold on to that culture. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't understand why, people like Hispanics or people that are black or people that are Asian are able to celebrate their culture, but the moment people who are white celebrate their culture, they're demonized. I mean, that's not right. And that's why this guy's a dominant competitor. We should be allowed to celebrate our own heritage. It's absolutely insane. I'm not saying let's go full Nazi, guys. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, people are going to pull me out of context. I'm talking about people should be able to protect their culture. People should be able to love their culture. People should be able to love who they are, whether that involved their skin color or whatever. Um, he has an America First podcast. He's basically been banned on basically every single thing. His DLive audience often reaches over 20,000 people. I mean, that is for a alt tech website. That is not a small audience by any means of the imagination. And the fact that he's been banned almost outright on all of these other major tech media platforms just goes to show the amount of reach that he's had. The spats that he's had with Ben Shapiro, particularly Turning Point USA, as well as some fights that he's had with Michael Knowles inside of Daily Wire has been absolutely epic. And these people are not going away. And whether or not the right wants to agree with it or not, this is a movement. This is a movement people that agree with. I agree with it to a point. I believe that white people should be able to celebrate their culture, that we should understand that the forefathers of America were white, had Christian, Judeo-Christian beliefs that ultimately created America, which has allowed this melting pot and us to actually live in peace for such, a copious amount of time. Most empires rise and fall within 150 years, and yet here we are, still thriving. Obviously a lot of people saying this is the end of the republic, but hey, we're still standing, guys. The officer Tatum, I would go with solid participant. I kind of put him in the same kind. Yeah, I kind of put him in the same lens. This is gonna sound racist as ABL. It has nothing to do with their skin color, just the way they present their videos. It's very, very similar. Honestly, guys, he's up there in terms of influence with the conservative twins, but I can't put him on the same tier as conservative twins. He's a very solid participant. His videos are absolutely amazing. The way that he breaks down, particularly videos that involve police brutality, is bar none. Mm. Ugh, I always do this. I talk myself and talk these people up. I do believe he's above ABL. And the only reason is his communication style and his comedy behind it. Um, I had him in my top 10 list in terms of conservative YouTubers. So I really do. I respect this guy a hell of a lot. His ability to go after the narrative of white privilege is what garnered him the amount of influence that he has to this very day. You know, he's actually saying, hey, look, black people, you have to be responsible to your own life. You can't blame the white man for every bad thing that happens to you. You know, he's like the black version of Jordan Peterson, right? And used to be a former SWAT, former police officer, and now he's changing the hearts and minds of Americans every single day and people all over the world. Very, very solid.